In the mid-2010s, the Indian middle class operated on a strictly defined path for success. Education, engineering, medicine, and corporate employment were the priorities stretching out below. Hobbies were acceptable, but only if they didn't interfere with the primary objective. Digital gaming was widely viewed by parents as a distraction that drained time and resources. Naman Mathur spent his early years grinding at the intersection of those expectations. He operated out of a cramped Mumbai bedroom, dealing with intermittent power, high latency, and severe hardware limitations. His only entry point into competitive gaming was through these glass screens, standard mobile devices identical to the millions carried in pockets across the country. The pressure to abandon this pursuit was immense. Without a clear financial return, the hours spent staring at a device invited intense parental scrutiny. He relied entirely on his brother and a close friend, Rutuja, who provided the quiet, continuous validation he needed to keep logging in when the household demanded he log off. Competing with suboptimal equipment meant he had to maximize his human output. Naman traded sleep for server time, pushing his reflexes through exhausting, repetitive drills into the early morning, sacrificing physical comfort to close the skill gap against better-equipped players. Maintaining this path required a demonstration of economic sustainability. He needed to turn individual mechanical skill into a repeatable revenue model that could survive outside the traditional job market. The conditions for that blueprint materialized when PUBG Mobile hit the market. It bypassed the need for expensive PC rigs, converting a casual, fragmented player base into a massive, highly competitive national ecosystem almost overnight. Naman recognized the shift. He stopped playing merely to climb isolated leaderboards and started broadcasting. He set up a stream, engaged directly with the chat, and began documenting his mechanical execution for a rapidly expanding audience. Through the screen, the soft-spoken boy from Mumbai compartmentalized his identity. When the microphone went live, he operated with calculated aggression and supreme tactical confidence, organizing teammates and dismantling opponents without hesitation. The physical reality of his small, dark room dissolved. It was replaced by the chaotic, high-stakes environment of Erangel, where his decisions carried immediate public weight the moment the drop hit. He adopted the username Mortal. In a region where mobile gaming was still seen as a casual distraction, this branding began to bridge the gap between hobbyist play and a professional digital identity. As the audience grew, so did the caliber of competition. Mortal gathered top-tier streaming talent to form Team Soul, transitioning a group of entertainers into a highly coordinated esports roster built specifically for tournament play. This animated top-down map of Sanhok illustrates the exact geometry of one of his most defining plays. Mortal found his squad eliminated and his position compromised. Surrounded by converging enemy vectors, he had to process the spatial audio and line of sight of multiple opponents simultaneously. He calculated the exact angle and timing required to thread an explosive through the remaining cover. That single mathematical input, which became known as the 30-lakh grenade, instantly wiped the opposing squad, securing the victory and instantly redistributing the tournament's massive prize pool. That level of execution became a pattern. Team Soul systematically dismantled the regional competition, securing 4 official championships and stringing together back-to-back major victories against the best rosters in the country. These wins generated hard data. The viewer counts, the prize money, and the corporate sponsorships were mathematically undeniable, forcing mainstream media outlets and skeptical parents to acknowledge the financial reality of the industry. The nature of the pressure shifted. Success at this scale meant he was now operating under the constant scrutiny of a massive, expectant fan base that viewed his individual performance as a bellwether for the entire Indian scene. The Indian gaming audience proved highly volatile. When Team Soul inevitably hit performance slumps, the adoration quickly fractured into coordinated, aggressive online criticism, dissecting his leadership and individual mechanics after every early exit. This tension peaked through his rivalry with another top player, Scout. Where Mortal was calm and strategic, Scout was aggressive and highly vocal. Their contrasting approaches split the national fanbase in two, turning every lobby they shared into a high-stakes proxy war for their followers. Behind the camera, Naman absorbed the collective frustration of his fans and the relentless demands of the algorithm. The effort required to maintain the flawless, mortal image began to severely tax his physical and mental health. The ecosystem he helped build had elevated him to a near mythological status, effectively stripping away his right to have a bad day, make a mistake, or fail as an ordinary human being. Despite the pressure, his streams offered a unique psychological utility. For a generation navigating the isolation of rigorous academic schedules and strict households, his late-night broadcasts became a dependable, comforting routine. He refused to engage in the hostile trash talk that characterized much of online gaming. He addressed his chat with respect, prioritized familial values, and actively dismantled the aggressive stereotypes that made traditional parents so wary of the medium. For many viewers, the glow of their mobile device playing his stream was the only light in an otherwise stressful environment. When he struggled in tournaments or took necessary breaks for his health, he explained his shortcomings openly to his audience. He didn't hide his fatigue. That exact transparency converted casual viewers into fiercely loyal advocates. He survived the crushing weight of his own myth, not by pretending to be invincible, but by treating his audience with profound respect and displaying genuine vulnerability. Recognizing the physical limits of a competitive career, Mortal began shifting his focus. He moved away from carrying the entire industry's viewership on his individual gameplay and started building the permanent infrastructure needed to support the next wave of talent. He partnered with industry veterans 8-Bit Thug and Goldie to establish SAUL. The business logic was precise. Combine Mortal's massive, dedicated audience with rigorous institutional management and high-end production capabilities. Looking at this modern SAUL production set, the leap in scale is evident. This operation is a massive technological and capital upgrade from the cramped, unair-conditioned bedroom where his broadcasts began. By co-founding this organization, he ensured that his legacy wouldn't end when his reflexes slowed. He built a permanent economic engine that continues to fund, manage, and elevate dozens of Indian creators. At the macro level, his success provided proof of concept. An entire generation of young Indians watched his trajectory and realized that mastering a mobile game could actually result in a respectable, lucrative career path. That influence eventually commanded global attention. The international gaming industry was forced to recognize the sheer scale of the Indian audience, validating their competitive scene at the highest levels. The digital metrics translated directly into reality. The quiet lobbies and solitary grinds evolved into massive offline events, filling physical arenas with thousands of roaring spectators. It is a movement built entirely on the back of individuals staring into glass screens, dreaming of something larger. Naman Mathur began by navigating a solitary path through a nascent industry. By building the infrastructure of SAUL and proving the physical scale of the audience, he provided the structural proof that mobile gaming is a viable, professional sector of the Indian economy.